Hello to the World Wide Web, and hello to everybody here in Whistler. Day 10 of Crankworks. Can you believe it? A week and a half, and it's all coming to an end. But it's not coming to an end without a bang. Talking about the Canadian Open DH, that is what is on tap for you, and it's coming up. Day 10 here at Crankworks, the grand finale, if you will, of Crankworks. Well, it starts right now.
You're watching the Canadian Open DH live from Crankworx Whistler!
What a great day for racing here in Whistler, live for Crankworks. You know, the sad thing about it, it's the final day, but Canadian Open DH not to disappoint, because that's coming your way. With more, let's check in with Jackie Montgomery. Jackie.
Well, thank you, Brad. We are here in Whistler for year number 11 of Crankworks, and I am at the infamous Heckler's Rock for the Canadian Open DH. Now, this thing is crazy. It's a little light right now because it is still early in the day, but once these pro divisions start going down, it will be packed to the gills, and it'll be complete mayhem up here as they are heckling each rider as they go by, hence the name Heckler's Rock.
Thanks, Jackie, up there at Heckler's Rock. Here we are in the finish arena for the Canadian Open. We have over 14 pro women, over 100 pro men racing today. We know Stevie Smith's not here. Will the course record be broken? We've still got some top names. Mick Hannah second last year. He wants to make a statement today. We will find out later on. Over to you, Tristan.
Thanks, you said it. Let's write a new ending to the book here, the Canadian Open DH Finals. We got a new final section of the course here, though. We got some whoops, we got some big jumps, and it's going to be some high-flying action. Arguably one of the hardest tracks in the world. It's short, it's steep, it's fast. It's lots and lots of exposure, big roots, big rocks. You're going to have to risk it if you want to win it at the end of the day. And, of course, it's not the Canadian DH Open Finals without the fans. Their people are going nuts out there right now. You're just going to have to hold it wide open and make it to that finish line, and that's how you're going to be walking away with that #1 spot and the title of champion.
Thanks, Captain Tristan Merrick, right there breaking it down for you. And I'm just getting word right now, the pro women are now on course. And you can join the party via social media. Hashtag everything, hashtag Crankworks, hashtag Crankworks. And if you want to follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, well, you can do that as well at Crankworks. That's how it's breaking down. Canadian Open DH, we'll be right back with the racing right after this. Oh, what a great day. What a great day out here at the Canadian Open DH. Sad to say, day 10. That's what I was talking about earlier. Last day of Crankworks. Cy Payton in the booth. The captain, Tristan Merrick, hanging out here. And we're bringing the last day of action to you. Now, this is a course that requires a lot of focus. And let's take a look at our course description. I think we can bring that up for you right now. All right, Tristan, you know the mountain like the back of your hand. Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, the Canadian Open, such a gnarly track. We're seeing the same track we've had the last couple of years. You drop down from the top of Fitzsimmons zone. Lots of rock, lots of smooth, slick rock up top. But it's because of the dry, dusty conditions, there's lots of shrapnel rolling around. There's big boulders the size of baseballs, watermelons cruising around. You hit one of those, it's going to spell the end of your day.
So now we'll take our attention to the racing action for the pro women on course for you right now. So it looks like we got plate 206, Camila Noguera up for you out of Argentina.
Yeah, riding on the Zenith bikes there. Camilla there coming through the last part of the course now. We've got some nice new jumps in a brand new section of the course. Big tabletop into some motocross style whoops that you'll see the riders coming down. That certainly, after 3 or so minutes of riding, is the last thing they want to be hitting before they hit this big 50-foot brand new double. She's going to cross the line. It's going to be a good time for her second place. 3:37 for the Argentina. Camilla there, second place.
So right now, Claire Buchar is the time to beat the 3:21.27, 3:21.27, a good time. And then you look at Camilla in that second spot, Maria Luza in that third spot, 1-2-3 right there.
Some great camera angles we have here today on the Canadian Open. Riders along that last pedaling stretch, you can ride around those big jumps. So you jump actually over the service road as you're going along above the top of the boneyard here. And we can see she's dropping into the lower part of the course. So you got this steep, really rough chute. It's a hard left-hander at the bottom. A lot of G-force as she comes down into here, railing through that corner.
Yeah, this is Veronique Sandler there from New Zealand. The other better half of Bernard Kerr. She's been racing World Cup. She's been over in the UK as well, racing. What can she do today? She's on course, looking good so far. Doubling that up as she comes around that IXS banner. Up to this big tabletop, over these motocross style whoops. Riding it like a pro. Here she comes, hitting the big 50-footer. She's down safe. Veronique Sandler there. It's going to be a good time for her. Sub 4 minutes, fourth place, 3 minutes, 51 seconds.
So very respectable time right there, getting in there.
Right on the 204 plate there. Alana Colum there from New Zealand, Queenstown. Big international field here today.
And Alana Colum looking to try to take down that 3:21.27. Claire Buchar with that fast time so far has her in the top spot.
We saw Alana the other night in the dual slalom presented by Giant Bicycles. She was doing battle with the elite out there. And she's coming down in the lower part of the course right now. It's a short one, but it's extremely taxing on your arms and legs. Very, very physical. The dry, loose conditions. Traction not there on everything. So you got to make it over those jumps as well. Again, casing that, not easy. Maybe feeling a little gassed right now. The wind going through the side of the whips there. Ought to know that big jump. Alana coming down, scrubbing over the side, putting the pedal strokes in to come across that line. Slotting her into fifth position right now for the Kiwi girl.
But still, Claire Kavarak there, she's in the lead at the moment with that time. This is only half a second in front of last year's time. Sorry, I say Claire Kavarak. Claire Buchar is the better half of Chris Kavarak. Racing for Kavarak Racing, 3:21.78 last year. 3:21.2 on the leaderboard at the moment for Claire, sat in the hot seat.
And here we go, Via Verbeek now making her way down here off the last kicker, pedaling across the line. What's that time going to be? Check it out with a 3:25.32 into second place for Verbeek right there. Put your hands together.
Smoking around there for the Canadian national champ. On the screen right now, though, Casey Brown jumping through the section there up above the boneyard. She's putting in the pedal strokes. Style for miles, this girl. Looking like a pretty good time she's on right now. She's coming down to the last section, of course. She's got to navigate a couple big berms here. And that steep rock chute, very easy to puncture down there. Very easy to actually not even get into that berm. You get a little huckabuck down there.
Yeah, here comes Casey Brown. She knows how to do the jumps. One of only 2 women to be doing the whip-off World Championships presented by Spanx. She was up there flying high. These jumps down the bottom, she's going to take these in style.
Casey Brown right now, check the time. Check the time. Here comes Casey Brown. 3:19 and counting into first place for Casey Brown, a 3:19.59.
Right, Tracey Hannah on course, straight out of Yorkeys Knob, Queensland, Australia, riding that 20-inch Polygon prototype. Brother, of course, to Mick Hannah, who won on the A-line. We'll be seeing him racing later on. He got second in this event last year. Stevie Smith took the win, but he's not here today. He's out with an ankle injury at the moment.
It's Tracey staying as low as she can across the flats in the upper section of course there. Wind a bit of a problem right now. Can blow you off the side of the jump, or when you're doing the sprint, it's gonna slow you down. But Tracey putting in a pretty good time. She's getting over that jump now just to the whoop section.
And here comes Tracey Hannah. She's on a flyer. Can she keep this time going? Airing it out. What's the time for Tracey Hannah? 3:18.96. Say hello to your new leader, Tracey Hannah, with a 3:18.96 into the top spot. Now, just getting word right now that 215, plate 215, Adrienne Schneider from the U.S., she is getting a rerun, so we'll be seeing her come down. So she's the last competitor to come down, standing in the way with Tracey Hannah taking the win and Casey Brown into that second spot. So Tracey Hannah, Casey Brown, there's 1 and 2. There Buchar in 3. So Buchar 3, Brown 2, and Hannah number 1 right now.
Yes, that's provisionally your top 3 at the moment. We have got the American rider. Almost 1 minute, 30 seconds into her run at the moment. Adrienne Schneider there.
And the pro men will be coming up for you. And a whole lot of them, 130 pro men battling it out here for your Canadian Open DH. Cy Payton, Tristan Merrick, the captain, and Brad J up here in the booth calling it for you right now. Last day, day number 10, the final day of Crankworks. Adrienne Schneider, once again, plate 215, still on course, getting a rerun here. But if she cannot beat those times, if she could not do better than that 3:21.27, then that will be your 1, 2, 3.
So provisionally at the moment, Tracey Hannah taking that top spot, 3:18. That's 5 seconds off last year's winning time. Emily Rago there, who's not here today. But still a great time. She's 0.6 of a second in front of Casey Brown.
Here's 2:15 right now, Adrienne Schneider. This is when she was leaving the start right here. So our last competitor on course should be coming into view very shortly. Adrienne Schneider, 3:06 and counting.
And you can see just how tough this course really is. It's so slippy up there, even though it's absolutely bone dry. It's so dusty on those rocks and on that route. It's almost like marbles up there. And Tristan, you were saying earlier, this is almost the toughest course on the North American circuit.
Yeah, I would say so, just in terms of the length, how technical it is, and just the variety of terrain that you got to deal with. And as we always seem to come across here at the Crankworks time, we haven't had any rain that's really done any sort of benefit to the course. I mean, it's very, very dusty. It's blowing out that talcum powder, very unpredictable. And of course, with all the rock slabs that we do have, it's just, you're mixing two things that should not go together. So as we saw with Adrienne there, coming down that last chute higher up on the course, very, very slippery, unpredictable. At least in wet weather, you kind of know where you're gonna slide, where you're not gonna slide. The dusty conditions, the traction can let go all of a sudden. So Adrienne down into the lower part of the course right now, down into the boneyard. She's got the big double through the trees. Not keeping her speed up for that rail in that last corner there. So again, she is on a rerun, having issues on run number 1. Adrienne coming down through the whoop section, skipping out around that big jump, but coasting down across the line right now.
Yeah, still looking good. She's going to cross the line. She's going to still a top 10 place. 10th place, 4:19. Respectable ride for her, but will we see that course record broken by Stevie Smith of last year? He did a 2:47.8. Mick Hannah was only a fraction behind by 0.09 of a second.
Well, let's take a look at your official results right now. That's how it's going to play out here. Tracey Hannah going to take the win over Casey Brown in that second spot, and Claire Buchar will round it out in third. So Claire Buchar third, Casey Brown number 2, and Tracey Hannah taking the win out here today. All right, let's send it down to Jackie Montgomery, standing by with our winner. Take it away, Jackie.
Tracey, this is the first time that you've ever raced in the Canadian Open downhill, and you walk away with a win. How does it feel to be called champion?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I wasn't really expecting it over the Canadian girls who have a bit of experience on the track and the terrain, but no, I'm really happy.
Now, last year, your contest season was cut short because you were recovering from a shoulder injury. How does it feel to come back strong this year?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Actually, I was quite nervous to even ride here because we have the World Cup finals next week, and I'd like to make it through a whole season this year. So, yeah, I was a bit hesitant, but finally the track was pretty cool, and I was enjoying it, and I felt pretty confident today.
Your brother Mick Hannah is going to be racing in the pro division. Is there any advice that you're going to give him about the track?
Yeah, but I'm going to keep that a secret.
So everyone else doesn't know. Well, congratulations on the win. Tracey Hannah, your 2014 Canadian Open downhill champion.
Oh, very good. Thank you so much, Jackie Montgomery. Pro men, they are coming your way here in just a little bit. Welcome to the final day. Canadian Open DH underway for you here, Whistler. Day 10. We'll be right back with the pro men right after this.
If the country is wild, get a 4x4. If the country is big, get a 9-speed transmission and 44 miles per gallon. If the country is rugged, get comfortable with full-grain Napa leather and technology to keep you on the right path. And if the country is Canada, get a Jeep Cherokee. Ajax 2014 Canadian Utility Vehicle of the Year.
The weekend's here and we're ready to roll. We kick it off and snag these new Bud Light Quickies. These slim cans get cold fast, then we head straight to the beach. When we're ready, they're nice and frosty. Watch the sunset by the fire and we break out the tunes. As the night cools down, things really heat up. Next day, we head to Dave's cottage, pop some quickies in the cooler, they get icy in no time. The games begin and TJ busts out a jig. Someone shimmies, someone shakes. We dance like nobody's watching, but everybody is. Summer's here and these little quickies get cold fast. Perfect for Bud Light living.
And welcome everybody out here. Canadian Open DH underway. Pro men coming up for you. Cy Payton, the captain, Tristan Merrick, and Brad J. up in the booth bringing it to you. And day 10 here, you guys. It's been absolutely amazing every single day out here, including the day that we had the whip-off, the official whip-off championships, right?
Oh yeah, and what a day that was. Such an amazing event. It used to be a little bit low-key. It's gone a little bit more professional now. But you know what? People are up there. The crowd also make the event, not just the riders.
Tristan, is that why it's now the official instead of the unofficial that it has been in years past?
Well, yeah, I don't know if I'd ever call it low-key. I mean, it was big from the start. It's the Whip-Off World Championships.
Are you guys arguing right away? I love this,
Well, you
man.
know, I just want to make sure the correct facts are out there. It's a blast. It's a ride. I mean, anybody who is here needs to go up and check it out. I mean, I got up there that day, did a little one-arm swag with my cast on one hand there, and one-armed it down the hill, and watching it. It's just amazing to see the level of riding and the progression. And I guess you could say the youth have some big tricks up their sleeve when it comes to this whip game that we've got going on.
Indeed, and actually the voting is online. You can vote for the fan favorite or your official whip-off champion. You can do that. Okay, the judges voted for who they thought, but you can get in there, go to crankworks.com, and you can vote for the poll question right there. Let's take a look at some of the videos, shall we, dudes? Let's do this.
My personal favorite, the young lad here, Finn Isles, barely getting into that contest. Massive social media campaign to make it happen. The kid getting the back wheel above his head. Of course, last year's champion, Bernardo.
Yeah, all the way from Brazil there. That's his young lady with a big white banner hanging out there. And he was going so high, Bernardo Cruz, but so were all the riders. So difficult for the judges to actually measure who was going to be the winner on this one.
That's Andrea Lucandigui right there. Andrea throwing down a huge whip. Again, he's got that moto style, but we're not going to link those two words together. It ain't a moto whip. It's just a big whip. And here's Graham, proud of the interior, kicking it out. Maybe not getting it back 100%, but great style. Again, getting a good tabletop in there, bringing the bike back around.
And that's how it broke down for you. And you can vote right now. Please go to crankworks.com and you can vote for who you think the winner is. There's also another great poll question on there. Who's the most annoying announcer at Crankworks? You can vote on that one as well. And that is all coming up. The racing coming up hot and heavy. The guys are stacked in racks coming across the line. The pro men coming up here. Final day, Canadian Open DH when we come back. Hang on. And welcome everybody out here. Crankworx Whistler, as I said, the final day of action, Canadian Open DH underway. Pro men coming at you. Cy Payton over here on the end. The captain, Tristan Merrick right here. And my name is Brad J. And we got a poll question going on crankworks.com, which is absolutely amazing. Can we put up the poll question right now so we can show these good people what it is? Here's today's poll question. Who is the most annoying announcer at Crankworks 2014? And I'll tell you what, we put the list up there. Brad Ewan, that's the guy that shut the front door. Tristan Merrick right here next to me, the captain. Cy Payton, which I think would be a win. There's me, Brad J, Ryan Meyer, who's doing the Red Bull Joyride, and Jackie Montgomery, who's out there in the field. So you can vote. You can chime in who's the most annoying. And I'm actually pulling for you guys to vote for me. So here's my appeal. Please, I've been trying to annoy you guys for about 10 years of this. Find it in your heart to vote for me as the most annoying announcer. There's great prizes involved in this.
I checked your website out earlier, Brad. Brad J, keeping it rad since '94, is that right?
I think something along the lines of that, but we're looking at an early lead right now. We're in a dead tie, actually, between you guys.
Well, Jackie's
in second place.
Jackie's now moved into the top spot. Cy in that second spot, tied with me. And
you guys are the first losers right now,
yeah,
actually.
we are. But a lot of people just can't understand Cy, and they don't even know what he's saying anyways.
Well,
Danny.
Danny can understand why I say, you know, I was leading this. I was 50% of the votes earlier on this morning when this first went live. So I'd like to thank my mom and all my family for voting for me and all those guys back in the UK, where it's probably 2 a.m. or so in the morning. I don't know. It's pretty late for those guys. So thank you to them. I haven't come here to make friends. I've come here to annoy all the people on the polls.
So get on there. Who's the most annoying announcer at Crankworks 2014? That is Crankworks poll, the final one here for day 10. All right. It's time to check in with Jackie Montgomery. Standing by. Jackie, what's going on?
Thanks Thanks, guys. Well, just when the riders think they're home free, they have to navigate this last super technical part of the course. As you can see behind me, there's not a lot of dirt, just a lot of exposed rocks and roots. And this will be super hard to navigate as they try to keep their speed up towards the finish line. Guys?
All right, thank you, Jackie, breaking it down for us on the course here for your Canadian Open DH. Got an update on the annoying announcer at Crankworks. I have now taken the lead with 26.4% of the vote, side down to 20.8. So I'm in the lead. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right, so Joyride last night, huge Red Bull Joyride. Millions of people, well, not millions, but thousands of people were on hand for what a great show. And Brandon Semenuk doing it in Brandon Semenuk style. Why don't we take a look, rewind the clock 24 hours, and check out what happened last night, your Red Bull Joyride. Check it. And a big congratulations to Brandon Semenuk, doing what no other Red Bull Joyride athlete has ever done, and won the Joyride 3 different times, 6 podiums for him. And Brett Reeder, the return of Brett Reeder after the broken back last year, not able to compete pretty much the whole season, but comes back at second. And Anthony Mazzari, who's just doing his thing. He won. Crankworks laid this out, comes out here, gets third, both the first 2 diamond stops on the FMB World Tour. Congratulations to our podium right there. And right now, Canadian Open DH going on for you. Sean Neer, a 2:56.61. He is in the hot seat right now. But is that time going to hold up, guys?
No, definitely not. That's going to, the course is going to get a little bit faster for some of these riders. We have seeded them. We are expecting to see the big boys come down. Last year, 2 minutes 47 by Stevie Smith. We know he's not here today. There's a wealth of international riders, the likes of Danny Hart, Marcelo Gutierrez, Nick Beer, Connor Fearon. They're all in there. Any one of those guys could take the win here today.
Well, indeed. And Jackie actually had a chance to catch up with last night's Red Bull Joyride winner, Brandon Semenuk. Let's check how it went down.
Thanks, Brad. Well, I am with the winner of the 2014 Red Bull Joyride, Brandon Semenuk. Brandon, how were the celebrations last night?
It was awesome. Like, obviously, this is my hometown, so lots of friends and family, and, like, you know, just people everywhere. So it was fun just kind of floating around, seeing everybody, and everyone's stoked. And, yeah, no, it was good.
Now, you are the first person to ever win this event 3 times. Has it finally sunk in that you've put your name in the history books?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I definitely, like, it was such a crazy day yesterday, and I was definitely stressing it, but I'm so stoked that it worked out. And yeah, like 3 wins here, which, you know, I never would have thought I would have done that growing up, but it worked hard, and I'm stoked.
And now what's next for you? Where do you go from here?
Next weekend's the Bear Claw Invitational, another slopestyle.
All right, Bear Claw Invitational, not too far from here in Whistler. Look out for Brandon Semenuk. And guys, that's going to do it for us. Back to you.
Squampton Loke right there. Brandon Semenuk taking care of business, 3 wins. You know the thing I've noticed about Brandon Semenuk this year as opposed to the other years? It seems like the other years he's pulled in so many different directions that there's a little bit more stress in there. And then talking to him this year, the 3 or 4 times I spent some time with him, he just seemed like he was calm, cool, and relaxed.
He's got a pretty good program in life right now, living on the coast, hanging out there, riding his backyard. He's got the Coast Gravity Park that he hangs out in each and every day. And yeah, I mean, he finished up filming Rad Company, so that was a big project. That was something where he was able to put the contest on the side, focus on his progression, focus on his riding, and just do exactly what he wants to do. So why not just do your select events? Why not just do the diamond level events here and come out and own it in your backyard where you're born and raised?
It must be tough, Si. I mean, back in your day racing, I'm sure you had a lot of pressure on you to win all the time. It probably wasn't that easy to deal with that pressure, was it, Si?
Not when you're a small guy like me, Brad. Not at all. But you know what, racing back in the UK, it's, you know, so much different to the slope style, what happens here. You know, this was just amazing yesterday. It was a masterclass that we saw by Brandon Semenuk. He just took it to the crowd, nailed it on his first run, did a bit of a goon run, second run down, just to entertain the crowd, probably even just as much. There was a lot of laughs coming out of that. But it really was a masterclass in slopestyle riding. You know, that was a run that will go down in the history books. And the crowd here, you know, they're still talking about it today.
Oh, yeah. Canadian Open DH going on for you right now. I think we had a chance to do a GoPro course preview. Let's take a look at how it looks from the rider's point of view. Check it out.
Hey, this is Danny Hart. This is the GoPro course preview for the Canadian Open.
Stay on your bike, Danny.
Yo! Off the start, little jump here. Straight over all these rock slabs, could get slippery in the rain. Little fade away here. Pretty dry still. This is going to be so high speed when we're racing. Another fade away. Out wide. Come back. These slippery rocks and it's been raining a little. Quite greasy. Into the Heckler's Rock. Yoo! Inside there. Got a big step down. Really fast here. Into the fast section underneath the lift. Watch these rocks, super slick. Nice little step down coming up. Sweet corner. Down into the woods. Really good. Super cool corners. This gets a little tight here on this left-hander. Up high. Get a little jump there. This is where it gets technical. I'm choosing the inside line. Up high. Little jump down. Up high again. Nearly come off there. Super tight. Cool little shoot here. To the left. Into the jumps now. This is where it gets super fun. Woo! Thick jump. This could be a quad, but not done it yet. Last little sprint. Now it gets steep a little. Cool corners. Down over the rocks. Into the sick left. And nice little step down. Fast turn. Double. Woo! Into the whoops. There we have a run down the Canadian Open downhill.
And that is your GoPro course preview courtesy of Danny right there for you. Here's how it's going for you right now. Taking a look at our start list, some of the guys coming down for you right now during the pro division here for Canadian Open DH.
Nothing but big names on there. We got guys like Kyle Sanger's coming back, Bernard Kerr, Eddie Masters. We'll see if he's got a Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops on today.
I doubt that he's
Shark
rocking
Attack
the flip-flops.
Jack, Brendan Fairclough, Nick Beer, Danny Hart.
And then the last few down, Mick Hannah and then Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas there, the Colombian.
So Marcelo Gutierrez, he's already had the win. That was the Garbo. Then you got Mick Hannah, you guys. He's finished second in this race to Stevie Smith the last 2 years. Talking to Mick earlier, got a sore shoulder a little bit, kind of hanging back a little bit. Do you think he has a chance to get the win out here today?
You know, the ADH was a smoother course for him, you know, and he's been a little bit fatigued after being here all week. I mean, you just cannot not ride your bike when you come to Whistler. And I spoke to him, and he was feeling a little bit sore yesterday. Just kept it down to 2 practice runs, 1 practice run this morning. See how he gets on later on down the course. If he can grin and bear it and get down, we should see a good time from him. But, you know, he has got that 4th-degree shoulder separation. The operation was 9 weeks ago.
That being said, it is sick, Mick. He's gotten second twice. We've seen him get pretty huck-a-buck out there. He's letting things get away from him. I don't see him taking it easy. I mean, it's the Canadian Open downhill. You can't come down this hill at anything less than 100% commitment. I see him probably putting down a heater right there. He's been so close. The last thing he wants to do is come in second place again and let Marcelo possibly take that win or somebody else. So I see him putting down a big run regardless. It's a good little warm-up before he goes into the final round of the World Cup next weekend, and then with Worlds later on this fall. So there's only one speed for Sick Mick. That's 100%. 100% on the speed, 100% on the commitment.
Sai.
Can I just go back to that course preview by GoPro with Danny Hart? Because you two and the rest of the crowd were all scratching your heads.
Because nobody understood what Danny was saying right there. That's why that was going on like that.
We need to get subtitles next year. We get Danny Hart.
I think so. We might need subtitles for you, Sai.
I speak Queen's English. Just you remember that, boys. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to see Danny Hart coming down this court later on this afternoon.
And checking our updates on our poll so far. And yes, I am smashing the competition for the most annoying announcer at Crankworks. 29.3% of the vote going on right now. As we take to Omar Ajid Filo from Brazil. 3:39.47. Best time so far, Sean Neer, a 2:56.61. Oliver Zwar in that second spot, a 3:01.35. And Denny holding down the third spot with a 3:02.44 for Korchesny.
Yeah, Denny Corchant, one of the local shredders here, doing each and every round of the Fat Wednesday series that we have. So he's no stranger to riding the bike park, no stranger to this track. He knows how to get down there.
Fat Wednesday, is that what Brad races?
That's the one that I'm in. No, I don't think it's actually fat as in girth.
We also have Little Man Tuesdays. So.
We have Little Man Tuesdays and Fat Wednesdays. Okay, you got Little Man Tuesdays, I'll do Fat Wednesdays.
Just tell me about Fat Wednesdays. What happens there?
What is it?
It's a race series that's really grown from pretty much next to nothing to over, around 200 riders every Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Started off as $2. It's now gone up to $5. You come, pay your $5 entry fee. You get a closed course racing. You get some training. It's not seated. You just go down whenever you want throughout the evening. Racing starts around 4:30 in the afternoon. And then the beauty of it, no matter what, you finish a run, you get given a ticket to go have a cold beer up at the GLC. So it's a win right there.
Yeah.
And then all of our amazing sponsors give us a fair bit of swag throughout the year. So you can be walking away with a brand new set of RockShox boxers each and every week. We got Maxxis tires, pads and everything else. And then, of course, we take the total cash purse, split it up in each category.
Nice.
And with some of the bigger races, like the first race of the season is the chainless beeline. You can be walking away. I mean, I know Chris Kovac has walked away with a fair bit of pennies there at the end of the day. I mean, he's got some serious winnings over the years. So
and it's nothing that's brand new. I mean, Fat Wednesday's been going on for some time now.
Quite a few years, and it's I haven't had the chance to participate in any of them this year, just due to some travel schedules and a few other commitments.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing vibe. I think if you're ever in town for it, you buy yourself a WORCA license, which is the Whistler Off-Road Recreational Cycling Association. You buy your license for $50. Covers you for everything. You can race Fat Wednesdays. You can do the XC races on Thursdays. There's so many things, and the money goes straight back into the trail network in town here.
That's epic. And check out our epic camera views from our helicopter we got rolling out there today. Sparing no expense out there. Helicopter footage.
No, and that's going to give us a great breakdown later on when we see our top dogs come down of just where they're gaining speed, where they're getting. You can see right now, this is the final section. We've got a little step on, step off as they're cruising along the top, and they're coming into the top of the boneyard right now here. As they duck to the right, you're going to see all the features from Joyride last night.
You like that section a lot, don't you, Tristan?
Yeah, I do like this bottom section here. For me, there's a good flow. I mean, it's a real rough shoot right there. But you come down, you rail that left-handed berm. It's a bit of a flat corner in the trees. You got to kind of lock into the rut. Then you step out of that, then into this real loose left-hander. There is a berm there now. You jump up through the trees. You got to stay low through there. A nice left or right-hander after that. Putting the foot out, little hip jump action, and then you come into these whips. The whips are something new, and with that jump beforehand, just here for Crankworks, it's not a regular thing. Those would clean a few people out, I think. You have to have your speed up through it. If you drop your speed, your front tire is not going to stay on top of them, and that's going to send you right over the bars. Kind of like I did the other day in the enduro practice, which got me the sweet piece of flare on my arm.
So now that's a flare that you're going to be rocking for the next 4 to 6 weeks, right?
Yeah,
rather 3 to 5 now.
3 to 5. We'll see. You know, I might become a doctor and you know, say to myself, you know what, you can cut that thing off. But I should probably leave it on. It's the last thing you want is a wrist injury that's going to stay with you for years to come. So
you know it, and that's exactly what I did with my cast. I remember I got to about the 4th or 5th week, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going the distance. I could not even be in the same room. It stunk so bad, I ended up cutting it off one day on my own.
Well, the beauty of the Canadian healthcare system is I can go get a fresh one whenever I want here. So go get a new one. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, at the track today, let's get back to that. I mean, it's extremely demanding for athletes. You have to be committed 100% on this type of track. There's just no room for error, especially in the trees. It's very tight through there. And we keep talking about loose rocks that are floating around. These dry conditions, things are getting kicked up, stuff's changing, things are getting rutted up a little bit. In areas, it is very, very hard packed, but I mean, on the slick rock, it's like talcum powder. It's just a very you just don't know where you're going to get traction or not get traction in there. So you can't push too hard in certain areas.
And it was kind of crazy because, I mean, the first few days, it was beautiful skies, and then they were starting to predict that a lot of rain was supposed to be coming our way. And then it just never really materialized, did it?
No, not until literally it happened right as we finished the RockShox Ultimate Pump Track Challenge, which was perfect. But because it's been so dry for so long, it's just not, it didn't penetrate into the dirt too much. I mean, the tree cover covers a lot of that trail, and then it just didn't do much for it. It was a little bit tacky in the morning, but as we can see on a day like today, there's lots of dust coming off the rear tires. The riders come down through the bottom section of the course here, and that's like that top to bottom.
Can I just say I've had Paul Hart.
You just stepped out for a conversation on the phone. Who called you? Is everything all right?
That was Paul Hart, Danny Hart's dad. When Paul Hart phones you, you answer the phone.
Yes. What did his dad say?
He said, what's all this rubbish that they can't understand him?
His dad said that?
Yeah, when Danny Hart's dad phones you, you have to answer the phone.
Oh, man, it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun.
Oh, it was a good time here. I mean, it's crazy. Day number 10. I mean, it's I can't believe we've already gotten to this point. It's, you know, in the past, we've actually had the Canadian Open DH as the first event of Crankworks up until a few years ago. So it was a real way to kick things off. And now it's pretty much the best way, I think, to close out Crankworks. It's such a fast, hard-hitting event, nothing but action. And it's what better way to go out at the end of the year.
And Brandon Ostoforov, Canadian rider, coming across 3:34.48. And that's going to wrap up his time right there. And we got more coming across here, 130 pro men here at your Canadian Open DH. We'll be right back as they cross the finish line here, our final day from Crankworks.
We're at the Jeep Rocks and Road Tour, and I'm here with Eamon. He is going to be our tour guide today. Eamon, what is going on around us right now?
Basically a demonstration to show off what our Jeeps are capable of doing off-road. Different attributes of, you know, what they can do in different situations and just what their capabilities are off-road.
What will we be driving today? What's our weapon of choice?
Well, this bad boy is a 2014 Wrangler Sahara Unlimited, and it's basically our 4-door Wrangler, and we're going to be taking it over some pretty serious obstacles and bouncing all over the place, and it's going to be fun.
What makes this car so special?
Everything, from the suspension, the geometry, the tires, the engine. I mean, I'll tell you all about it when we're on the course, but it's a pretty special ride. It's definitely the best off-road vehicle that we have.
And then now I get the luxury of being your chauffeur for the day. But can anyone do this? Can anyone come out here and drive this course?
Absolutely. You just have to be 18 years or older, and the Jeep does all the work. It really is a lot easier than it looks. You don't need any special training.
Are you ready? Are you nervous to do this?
Absolutely not. Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
There you go.
Okay. Has anyone ever tipped one of these?
Nah.
Do I get a prize if I do?
Yes.
Okay.
You get to keep the Jeep. You just got to put it back over there.
Sweet. Perfect. All right, that's our ride for the Jeep Rocks and Road Tour in the 2014 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sahara. It was a beauty, scary at times, but in the end, fun. Get out here and try it out.
I'll tell you what, that's just some of the cool stuff you can do out here. Please make your way out here next year for sure. Come and join us out here. Sean, there you can see it with that top time, a 2:56.61. So far, that is the top time. I'd like to say hello to Paul and Sue Hart that are watching at home, Danny Hart's parents that are watching. But before we get back to the racing, let's send it down to Jackie Montgomery. Jackie.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Sean Neer, who is currently in our hot seat. Now, Sean, you're from Boulder, Colorado. So while most people are bummed on these dusty conditions, you said they kind of play in your advantage. Why so?
Yeah, you know, like, everybody loves the wet conditions. You get the good dirt, you get the stuff you like, but back home it never rains, so it feels like home to me, so it's nice.
So you felt like a little bit back home in your comfort zone. Now, you have a very respectable time of 2:56, but you're still a little disappointed. You said it wasn't your best run. What happened out there?
Yeah, it was dry, and I should know better, but just blew a corner, just overjumped a jump and blew a corner, but fast guys will start coming down and kick me out, but it was a fun run next year, you know.
Now, aside from the dry conditions, how is the course holding up?
It's the best course of the year. It's, you know, it's got steep, it's got jumps, it's got everything, so it's awesome. It's the best track of the year.
All right, Sean Neer out of Boulder, Colorado, currently in your hot seat. Guys?
And you hear what he said, too. He said he kind of blew out one of the turns right there, and that still put up a 2:56.61. Maybe he's in the 240s or something, Tristan.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. There is lots of time to make up here, but with such a short track, any little mistake gets magnified very quickly in terms of what the clock's going to say at the end of it. So you don't want to have too many issues on the way down. It's going to take a close to flawless run to be the top spot at the end of the day. So.
And I guess would we call that a close to flawless run last year for Steve Smith? He got the 2:47. That was the winning time. But Steve said he came off his bike, was able to run alongside of it, get back on his bike, and still able to take the win.
For everybody else other than Steve Smith, it would have been a dream run. But Steve Smith, yeah, getting yanked off the bike, having a little issue there, running along, hopping back on it. And you got to feel pretty good at it. I guess you come across the finish line, you probably thought, oh, man, I just threw it away. I came right off my bike, had to get back up to speed, lost some momentum. Then you get to the bottom and it goes green. It's got to be a pretty good feeling.
But if you talk to him, too, if you talk to Steve Smith about that same situation, he said that he just really turned it on. The bottom is trying to make up the difference on it. And he said it got to a point where it was just downright dangerous how fast he was going.
And that's the thing on a long technical course like this. You can make a mistake. It's not a real short course. The time can be made up further, you know, later on as the course comes along. And Stevie Smith proved that. You know, we all saw when he crossed the line, he did not believe that he had won the race. He was looking around. It's almost disbelief. Have I actually won? The helmet's on. It's so difficult when you turn around, you're trying to focus. You know, and he did take the win, but it was such a close margin against Mick Hannah. You know, anything can happen on this course. We haven't seen many mechanicals so far, but I'm telling you now, guys, that will come into play later on this afternoon.
You're saying as we get towards the heavy hitters, towards the bottom, we might see a few mechanicals with those guys?
Yeah, you know, punctures is going to be the #1. You know, chain off will be the second one, and hopefully nothing further than that for any of the riders out there.
Yeah, I mean, with how rough it is and the random boulders that are kind of coming out all over the place, all it takes is, you know, OJ and a little bit of a jump there, and you land on a rock, and all of a sudden your chain guide explodes on you, or you lose a chain. But yeah, as I said, flats are going to be the name of the game. It's to push it, you have to find that perfect pressure. We're still getting maximum traction, but at the same time, you're going to be able to get down in one piece and get that tire down in one piece.
I'm just going to talk about weather conditions at the moment because you can't really see this at home, but there's little mini tornadoes going off down in the finish arena down here. It is very windy. When you're hitting that 50-foot jump, that's going to put you right off jumping, taking off on that. So you may see some of the lesser riders going to the side, but the ones that are hanging on will be going for that big new 50-footer that they've just installed.
I got a question for you on that, Tristan. Now, that jump is a little bit more tame than it was last year, do you think? Or is it just different jump in general?
Yeah, because we rebuild the course each and every year, the Red Bull Joyride course, that jump also gets rebuilt. I mean, during the wintertime, this is a flat ski slope. So we scratch it down and we rebuild it each and every year. It's tamed down a little bit. It's got a little bit more kick than we've seen in the past. What was happening in the last few years, it was more of a ski jump. It was just big, long, and low. And on screen, we just actually had one of our riders come down with a flat tire. So
yeah,
the rock probably catching him out there, maybe not on the ball a little bit. But now you can see we've got our aerial view. We've got the helicopter up top, giving us a great little preview of what's going on through the joyride course. But
really?
yeah, the final jump, it's maybe a little bit easier this year, but it's giving you a bit of kick. And if you get caught in that crosswind, things can get really hairy in a short period of time.
Garrett McIntosh from Canada coming across. That's going to be a 3:27.22. Still remember last year's winning time, Stevie Smith, 2:47. And Stevie Smith did it 3 times. He went back to back to back. How hard is something like that, a feat to complete and do it 3 times in a row on this course?
I mean, it's extremely difficult. I think the cool thing is, Brad, you've been around a while, same with myself. We've seen Stevie grow up here at Crankworks. We've seen him from this young kid who has flashes of brilliance, but wasn't able to put it all together. And then now, you know, he's just on fire to win it 3 times. I mean, we can't forget that the year he won all 3 events, he won the Air DH, the Garbo, and the Canadian Open.
That was the year of the Smith that year, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Chainsaw Massacre was just hacking and attacking.
Yeah. So if you win this today, like you come out, you win the Canadian Open DH, and Stevie Smith is injured, he's not able to compete to defend his crown for the last 3 years. Is it still a legit win all the way through, Cy?
I'm definitely going to say yes to that. You look at Mick Hannah's time, it was only a couple of hundredths of a second off there. So, yeah, Stevie did crash, but there's always big ifs in racing. It doesn't matter. I know he's not here today, but still, Mick Hannah, he's certainly going to be the man to beat. He was only a fraction off. If he'd gone a little bit faster, maybe he would have crashed like Steve Smith as well. See, I'm not saying he was consistent or steady, but he kept it rubber side down, as you'd say, Brad.
Rubber side down.
Line.
Same question to you. Is it still a legit win, Tristan, if you don't get the win going through Steve Smith?
Well, if Steve was from Great Britain, I would have assumed Cy would say, no, it's not legitimate. You know, he'd instantly...
He probably would have.
He would be like, no, it's just not fair. But you know what? I think a win is a win at the end of the day. It's a Canadian Open DH. The track speaks for itself. It'll put hair on your chest if you're not careful. It's really, really technical. It's difficult. You know, I think even though Stevie's not here, he's hanging out, probably watching things with us right now. I don't see why not. You know, whoever wins at the end of the day wins fair and square.
Now, even if the time doesn't compare to last year, if it's 3 or 4 seconds slower than last year, still?
Yeah, 100%. I just think it's extra motivation for when you come back next year and when Stevie's going to be healthy, racing against everybody else here at Crankworks. That'll change things up.
Hey, look at this. Dean Tennant crossing around. Good time for Dean Tennant. Checking in with a 3:03.26 to put Dean in that 6th spot right there. Good stuff.
And we talked about, is the course actually fast this year? Claire Buchar's time from last year compared to this year, there's only half a second in it. So at the moment, from the pro women's point of view, it's almost the same length of track.
Exact same length. They've done, you know, a couple little reworks on a few things and cut out a few routes in there, and then the new bottom section. But in general, it's the same distance, it's the same speed. It's probably even, I would think it's going to run a little bit quicker this year, just with the changes that they have done.
Sure.
It be minimal. And at the same time, riders are progressing each and every year. They're pushing the boundary. As much as the track may be the exact same as last year, the riders themselves, they're working out in the gym. They're working hard all winter long. For a lot of the World Cup guys, they're trying to peak right now. 2 big races left, the final World Cup next weekend in France, and then, of course, World Champs later on. So they're in the final push of their season, so they're going to be firing on all 12 cylinders.
Well, we've just had a big wipe out on course at the moment, so the medics are just running over to him. Looking over at the lineup, we've got the big guns going over there. Danny Hart, he's in the lineup there, giving us a little wave. Had a crash earlier in practice this morning, banged his head a little bit, but he's up and running fine. Mick Hannah is also there with him as well.
And unfortunately, it's part of the game. One of the riders going down there. Not sure exactly who that is, but we have the great medical staff out here. The Whistler will tend. Maybe we can see exactly what went wrong here. Let's take a look at this here. It is plate 62.
Yeah, let me talk you
Nick
through
Grimm.
this. Guys jumping up there. Looking like the wind is just catching him. It's just pushing him. He's gone nose heavy, and he's gone straight over the bars. That's a huge crash. You know what, the guiders, we do make sure they wear as much protection as they can. He's got the full face on there. The medics are straight over to him already, so they'll be looking after him.
Just over jumping it there and maybe getting a little caught in the wind, picking up the underside of the bike there and just putting him down nose heavy. As you saw, there's where you should land, and he definitely was a little bit past that. So we've got the best medical staff in the game having a look. taking care of them right now.
So unfortunately, a turn of events here with Nick Grimm going down out of North Van. Send out those positive thoughts, those positive vibes for him. And we will, so it looks like we'll have to have some reruns as well here towards the list. 130 pro men out here. Congratulations to the ladies earlier. Tracey Hannah with the win. Casey Brown in second, and Claire Buchar in that third spot. Currently right now, Sean Neer, 2:56.61, your leader. Remy Metallier in that second spot. And Cole Piccinotino in the third spot. That's your 1, 2, 3 so far. I'll be right back with more updates for you. Canadian Open DH. We'll be right back right after this. Back to the final day here at Crankworks and site and home to your Canadian Open DH going on. Sean there you can see the top dog, 2:56.61. Remy Metallier in that second spot. Nicole Piccinotino in that third spot right there. So USA, France, USA. But then, of course, we had someone go down in there, Nick Grimm going down on the last jump. So what does that mean for all the riders that got the red flag after Nick went down?
So on a 3.5-minute race course like we see today, you may well have 6 or 7 riders leaving every 30 seconds. You'll have 6 or 7 riders possibly on course. The command will go out to the start line. The red flags will go out down the course, especially above this last jump where the rider has unfortunately crashed. And those riders will be asked to return to the start and ask for a rerun.
That's probably frustrating if you're having a good run right there, right?
Yeah, exactly. But maybe, Si, you can break down. So say you get down to the bottom. You're one of the first couple that came through. You were red flagged, but you still had a good run. Do you get a choice? Can you stick with that first run time, or do you have to go up and do a rerun?
Well, you know what? It just depends what the organising officials at the bottom will say on that one. So I'm not going to make that call as a commentator up here. But when you get a red flag, obviously you should stop if you see the red flag. Very difficult when you're coming through those last whoop sections. You're not looking to the side. You're coming straight through. And obviously you've got to be careful that the marshals, the volunteers here, aren't stood in the middle of the track and get run over. So, you know, they're doing the best. The riders will be heading up for a rerun. Of course, that's tricky. You've got 3/4 of the way down the course. You've expelled a lot of energy. You've saved yourself for that. You've got to go for a rerun. You may have to come and hydrate, get a little bit more food, and go straight back up. And what we'll do is we'll slot them in where there's a good gap and let them come and race further down the course.
So we're going to have just a little bit of a wait here as we read some of the tweets coming in. Casey Jane Brown and Tracey Hannah both with great times. Hashtag Crankworks. Thank you so much. Layla, so stoked to see Tracey Hannah take the win at the Canadian Open DH at Crankworks. Plus a nice cheeky whip at the end. What's that cheeky mean?
Cheeky, just, you know, a little tasty.
Just airing out the laundry a little bit.
Ruben Lowe staying up late to watch Crankworks in the UK. So it's late over in your neck of the woods.
Here we go, Nye Bart Park UK. Just watched Danny's course preview of the Canadian Open DH. The course looks sick.
Did he say hold my beer at the end of that? Is That's some sort of little UK joke that I don't know about?
Yeah, that's UK style, UK jokes for you. I wonder how we're looking on this leaderboard for the worst commentator at Crankworks, the most annoying commentator.
Hey, but you know what? Of course, the big news yesterday announcing that Crankworks is going now to New Zealand. How cool is that? Check out the dates. Here they are, March 25th to the 29th, and then back into France, July 9th to the 12th on Ladies Out. And then, of course, back here again, Whistler. The dates are set August 7th to the 16th. So if you had never been here and you got the dates right in front of your face,
mark it down in your calendar.
Yeah.
Send that
Pull the
email.
trigger.
Send that email to the boss. Tell him you're taking some time off. You're going to watch the best show on the face of the planet.
And the thing is, the earlier you book, the cheaper the flights. Let me tell you that now. I could have got some flights from the UK earlier on this year, and they were like £500.
Well, they were trying to replace you for the job, so that's why they didn't tell you right away.
Well, I'm not answering
I'm
that,
messing. All right, let's take a look at New Zealand. This is going to be the first stop next year. Take a look at our new stop, New Zealand Crankworks. It's got a good ring to it. Check it.
We've been welcoming people here for generations. Travelers who disregard the tyranny of distance. Explorers looking for something spectacular. New Zealand, North Island, Rotorua. They come for the earth, the dirt. When you ride it, you'll know. And now, our mountain biking paradise welcomes mountain biking's defining celebration. Crankworx Whistler, Crankworx Ladies Alp, Crankworx Rotorua. World-class riding.
If the country is wild, get a 4x4. If the country is big, get a 9-speed transmission and 44 miles per gallon. If the country is rugged, get comfortable with full-grain Napa leather and technology to keep you on the right path. And if the country is Canada, get a Jeep Cherokee. Ajax 2014 Canadian Utility Vehicle of the Year.
The weekend's here and we're ready to roll. We kick it off and snag these new Bud Light Quickies. These slim cans get cold fast, then we head straight to the beach. When we're ready, they're nice and frosty. Watch the sunset by the fire and we break out the tunes. As the night cools down, things really heat up. Next day, we head to Dave's cottage, pop some quickies in the cooler, they get icy in no time. The games begin and TJ busts out a jig. Someone shimmies, someone shakes. We dance like nobody's watching, but everybody is. Summer's here and these little quickies get cold fast. Perfect for Bud Light living.
Canadian Open DH in full effect out here today. We're in a course hold right now. Rider Nick Grimm going down, and Nick Grimm, we're giving him all the time he's gonna need. Well, we got some great pictures that showed up for last night on Instagram. Instagram, you can follow Crankworks. It's at Crankworks, or make sure you hashtag Crankworks. These are from like the fans that are just hanging out taking pictures.
Look like they have a pretty good view from where they were hanging out last night. I should have hiked up the hill a little bit further there.
Oh, look at that Yannick extension right there. Aaron Gaskin, that's a great picture on Instagram.
Oh, that's a gem right there. Again, you got the filmer in the foreground there. I mean, it was going off last night. I mean, so many good spots. There's no bad seat in the house here when you're watching Red Bull Joyride.
The claw right there with the helicopter in the background. That's another good shot right there.
A little Indian Air action.
And you know, last night it was busy here, but there was still standing room. I mean, it wasn't just standing room on the roof of the buildings and in the trees. We saw many a spectator having a good shim and climb up the trees. There was still place to stand. So when you do come, I know a few people say to me when they come to Crankworks, isn't it just too busy? You know, of course it's busy.
Who says that? Like your grandma or something? Come on.
You know what those English guys are like?
Yeah.
They like to complain a little bit.
It's too busy there.
But you
There's
know
too
what?
many people.
The lift line
Too
on the
many
Saturday
trails.
morning. The lift line on Saturday morning is busy,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But in the afternoon, you can get up the hill and have the hill to yourself.
And I noticed that too. Like right before we're getting started with Red Bull Joyride, there's no lift lines at all. And guys are getting up on that lift and they're heading on up there and going to get their time in with no one on the hill.
The queue is completely empty. I mean, some of the best laps you can ever have are actually while the event's going on. So I mean, then you're compromising, though. Then you're missing one of the best events on the face of the planet to ride one of the best bike parks on the face of the planet.
But you could watch the webcast replay after you get done, though, if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that advice. I don't like that advice. I'd watch it
because you live here. Because you live here and you're riding all the time, man.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I'm a little sad that we're already at our final day right now. It's a little heartbreaking.
And what I'd say as well, I did a few laps yesterday on the chairlift, and what a sight, what a view that was. It was almost the best seat in the house. Timed it nicely a few times. People coming off that boner log. I almost feel like my arms were a little bit longer. I could almost tire tap their wheel as they were flipping underneath me.
Your video that you filmed from the chairlift going up through the crowd was pretty amazing that I saw on Facebook.
You tagged that. I didn't know you knew how to use Twitter and Instagram and all that, Brad.
All right, let's take a look at last year's Canadian Open DH. Here's the highlights, breaking it down for you. Last year, Canadian Open DH. Check it out.
Crankworx Whistler. All right. Canadian Open downhill.
Go there, the French rider. This is going to be a good time. She doesn't do the big doubles.
Here she goes. Look at the time. This is a good time. Emily Rago crossing with a time of 3:13.01, smashing the record by 2 seconds last year. Your winner of your Canadian Open D8, Emily Rago.
Emily, take us through course conditions up there. We're seeing Fearon came down with a bit of mud on her. How did your run go?
It was okay. It's pretty cool because there is a lot of people on the track, so he push you to go a bit faster, so it's pretty cool.
Steve Smith in the attempt for the three-peat. He's won it back-to-back. He won all DH races last year. Took the nickname Triple Threat. Can he get the win out here today in the running for King of Crankworks?
Yeah, the crowd are on their toes. The Canadians are supporting this man. This is the home favourite, Stevie Smith, the Da Vinci rider. He's on his 26-inch rig. What can he do today? We know last year he did a time of 2:44. He was 4.6 seconds in front of the rest. Is he going to be the best today? We're going to find out in the next 10 seconds.
Here comes Steve Smith going for the three-peat. Steve Smith, he's pedaling fast over the last kicker. Rubber side down, bouncing across the line. First place, 2:47.81. Your winner right here for the Canadian Open. Back to back to back. Put your hands together for Steve Smith.
By 0.09 seconds, you take the win. Your third in a row. How good does this one feel?
It's got to be the luckiest run of my life. I just went into a tree, spun around, had a rundown of a section in the woods, and thought it was over from there, and just went max tilt, pissed off, and somehow still won. I don't know how. I'm so stoked right now.
And here's a shot of them taking Nick Grimm out. One more time. Put your hands together for Nick Grimm. He'll be able to hear you guys. Come on. Tough trooper taking a big fall out there today. And we wish him well. Thanks for everybody for helping out there, all the course marshals, and of course the medical staff here at Whistler Bike Park doing an amazing job. So Cy Payton, Tristan Merrick, the captain up here, Brad J. Calling the action for Crankworks.com for all the latest information, webcast, replays, and what have you. Hashtag everything. If you're taking some pictures out here, you're doing it on Instagram, hashtag them Crankworks. We'd like to check them out. We'll get this baby #1 trending, so go ahead and take your pictures and hashtag them Crankworks. Follow on Instagram, follow on Twitter, follow on Facebook. That's at Crankworks. The pros coming up, so reruns, we'll have reruns for, what do you think, about 10, 15 of the guys?
Not quite sure the exact numbers on there. Depends how many actually started off.
Yeah.
So maximum probably 7 or 8, but maybe up to 10 reruns. So we will get those slotted back in. If you've got a rerun, you've been red flagged near the start, ideally, the first sort of Well, 30, 60 seconds, of course, you may well want to turn around and walk back up. The rest of them will have a cruise down, get off, get back onto the chair, and get a lift back up the hill. But, you know, a little bit concerning for some of the riders. Obviously sat there, they would have seen, you know, I'm going to put that, the rider did overjump it slightly, but should have got away with it. But it seemed that the wind did catch his back wheel, push him over a little bit too much, made him buck there. Not the thing that you want to be seeing when you stood in the line up there.
Yeah, giving him the sail effect a little bit too much there. So, I mean, it's a hard mindset. You come down, you want to make sure all the other competitors are doing good. You never want to see somebody injured. You never want to have your run red flag, especially say you're on a heater right at the bottom. You know you're about 20 seconds away from the finish, come around that corner, and that's you're asked to go back up and do another run. It's got to be a little. Takes a lot. You got to go up there, reset your mental mind game, reset that all. You know, make sure your bike's still in one piece. I mean, your bike could be just holding on. You worked on it all morning after practice. And, you know, if you're pinning it, you're using a fair bit of abuse, throwing that bike into all the challenging terrain that we've got. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot to go want to do another run.
As a guy that, you know, both you guys have racing experience, and when you're coming down a hill and you're racing the entire course and you get down on the bottom and there's like a big kicker or a big booter at the bottom, how do you prepare for something like that? I know that you're tired by that time. Your hands are tired. Your body's tired. Do you try to just scrub a little bit of speed going into it and just try to mellow?
You know, I can answer that. I've raced Fort William, the Nevis Range track there a few times. That's a bit of a beast. They reckon that's the toughest race course on the circuit. You know, and even speaking to the likes of Steve Peat, he says he struggles once he's passed halfway down. And even for the lesser riders like myself that would be anywhere between 30 seconds to a minute behind, I say to him, we're on the course a minute longer than you. Just imagine how much more tired we are with the likes of Danny Hart that will be coming down this course. These last few jumps here, he'll be carrying a lot more speed. He'll be going a lot faster, so he won't be pulling up as much. It'll be a race jump. He won't be popping like he's down the BMX trails. Trying to keep it low and keep it fast, which obviously when the side winds, it's exactly what you want to be doing, but he will be carrying more speed, obviously, than the rest.
Tristan, is it like that because you're on the course longer, you're going to be more tired than a guy who's faster? I don't think it equates like that.
I'm not too sure. I think I'm kind of hearing that maybe I'm not as in shape, or, you know, that should try a little harder. I mean, I think personally, my biggest thing here, I have raced a little bit all over the world here.
Sure.
But Crankworks, for me, the biggest thing is the fans. The fans bring you in, like they make you elevate your game to a whole nother level with how loud they are, especially on the Canadian Open DH. You know, you hear them, it's a little, you have liquid courage, well, this is noise courage, and all of a sudden you're throwing down harder than you have before.
Well, now we got the racing continuing now, back on course. Jeremiah Ismail from Argentina, 239, 240 and counting. Sean Neer still in that hot seat with a 2:56.61 going on for you. Day 10, Crankworks. And now he's coming into view right there, Jeremiah's.
Yeah, I saw him up on course, actually on the Dirt Merchant Trails the other day, following a few of his boys down, made the big trip over, all the way from Argentina. I was trying to keep up the old diplomatic relations. Here he comes down. It's going to be a good time just outside the 3-minute barrier.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Ismail.
3:06.96. Just outside the top 10 into 11th place for Jeremiah's right there.
We can see on the screen right now, this is up, coming out of the final wood section on the upper part of the mountain there. And again, it's a bit of a rhythm section, a bit of a sprint. And again, the wind right now, wreak a bit of havoc with you going along. You want to stay as low as you can, try and keep your speed up, keep your momentum. And then coming down into the last little bit here, and just hard on the arm, especially that corner. It doesn't look like much, but the G out at the bottom of that left-hand corner is extremely difficult. You know, pump that rhythm section. Again, get through that drifty left-hand corner. Not very easy. You don't want to unclip. Keep your momentum up. And then you're almost home free, though, as you come down into the whoop section right now. And don't want to get too front-end heavy.
And this guy Gibbs, doing it for the UK. He's going to come through. Great placing for him. He goes 5th place, 3:01. 5 seconds off the lead there for Guy Gibbs. Still currently in the top spot, Sean Neer. Remy Metalier there, the Frenchman, in 2. And Cole Picciatento there, the American. He's in 3.
So taking our attention back out top here. Once again, these riders are leaving about 30-second intervals. As Rob Frazier, look at this, into 3rd place, 3:01.19 for Rob Frazier. Rob out of Pickering, doing it for Dunbar Cycles. And dropping a good time in there, just over that 3-minute mark.
One of the fastest Canadians out there, likes of him and Steve Smith and Remy Gavin and Kyle Sangers. There is You know, in Canada, there is kind of one fast guy, and that being Stevie, the fastest in the world last year on the World Cup. We don't, but we've got a lot of up-and-coming talent, unlike a lot of other countries like we're sized from. And same with you, Brad, where there's an established cycling association and network where there's a lot of fast guys, there's good development. We've got some guys that are getting quicker and quicker here, and it's cool to see them getting some success on the World Cup circuit, and especially here. I expect big results out of Kyle Sangers and Remy Gavin at the end of the day.
So Tristan, just to bring it up, I mean, when we talk about Stevie Smith's time, the 2:47 from last year, you say there's been a few course changes. Is it's a faster course, you think? We're going to see a better time than 2:47, you think, this year?
I mean, it's hard to say. We have seen a little bit of changes. Nothing major, though.
Yeah.
So it just depends how it's running up there today. I mean, talking to athletes, it seems like it's going pretty good. But really, at the end of the day, we'll just have to see what the clock says. I mean, it's Stevie Smith. He was the fastest in the world last year.
Mikey Day we got on course right now. Mikey Day, Olympic silver medalist in BMX.
Yeah, he was there at the pump track, did pretty well, riding for GT Bicycles. He's a big unit. He's on course at the moment. He'll have no problem taking that last jump. Mikey Day crossing the line, 3:09. Great time for him, 22nd place. Moving from BMX, having a dabble on the old downhill and mountain bike scene.
And he was saying just the other day that he was tired. He'd been competing so much.
Chris Kovarak on course, the Australian. He has made Whistler his home with Claire Buchar. We saw her coming down earlier, but this is someone else coming through the line at the moment. We're just looking up for Chris Kovarak there. He's up on course. We can now see him dropping in just to the side of the Joyride course.
So Chris catching the guy ahead of him. Knowing him, he's probably tearing this course limb for limb on the way down.
Here we go. Look at this. Chris Kovarak coming in from Australia. Across the line, what's the time going to be? 2:57.94 into second place for Chris Kovarak with that time right there. So just 1.33 off the top time.
Chris Kovarak there riding that Intense Evo 951, the 650B. That guy has been with Intense, his main sponsor, for the last 14 years.
Again, 1.33 back, not much, but on a course this short, little mistakes keep getting amplified. You overbrake one corner, you overjump something, it's gonna not pay the bills at the end of the day.
And Raphael Caroline Cutler from New Zealand, the Kiwi, the time in at 3:08.61, crossing line.
Do you think we'll see him at Rotorua next year there, Brad?
I gotta think so, right? I mean,
we're taking the event to the masses. I mean, New Zealand, an amazing cycling community down there as a whole. Couldn't be more excited to see it go on the other side there, the Southern Hemisphere, and just take it to a whole new market.
Can I say, it almost feels like we're in Australia or New Zealand here at Whistler. It's almost like all the barmen in London, they're all from Australia or New Zealand. You know, every other person that you speak to has made the big trip over. Maybe because it's winter over there. Maybe that's the real reason. They come to Whistler. I'm going to say guaranteed sunshine. We've had a few rainy days. I'll tell you what, last Monday, 35 degrees. I was out here, Brad. You saw me sunbathing on this pink bike deck in my bikini.
You've been enjoying the weather. You've been enjoying the sun. You don't get this weather in the UK as much, do you there, Si?
No way.
Sydney Slotcraft on course right now, still your top three. Remy Matallier in 3. Chris Kovarak in that second spot. And Sean Neer, 2:56.61. Fastest time of the day so far. And Sydney Slotcraft going to be in with a 3:13.24 for Sydney Slotcraft. All right, let's check in with Jackie Montgomery. Let's send it downstairs. Jackie, what's going on, girl?
All right, guys, I'm down here with Chris Kovarak, no stranger here to Whistler Mountain Bike Park. You're out here every summer. How is this course holding up? You ride this track all the time.
Yeah, I do. I got a lot of time on it, and you know, it's changed so much since we first started practice on this track. It's a lot rougher, there's a lot more holes, and it's really thick from dust, and there's rocks and roots popping up everywhere, so it's quite a different track. It's really physical, and yeah, it's a lot more physical than when I'm used to riding it.
Now, your wife, Claire Buchar, she raced in the women's division, pro division, getting 3rd. Did she have any advice for you before you came down, telling you any tricks that she saw when she was going?
Yeah, not really. She just said it's a little bit more dry, a little bit more slippery, but that was about it. I mean, I went up earlier today and had a look, and things look quite the same.
All right. Well, congratulations. Sitting in second right now, guys. We'll send it up to you.
All right, now Matt Beer on course, 2:53 and counting over to the final booter for Matt Beer. Gonna whip it out just a bit there. Gonna come across the line. Decent time. Looks like a 3:08. So he'll take over the third spot.
Yeah, Matt Beer there from St. John's in Canada, riding the Intense and riding for GoPro as well. Showing some style, getting down on that back wheel, managing through, still pedaling it. Great bit of bike handling skills by him. As we're looking up the hill now, rider number 32, that would be Lewis Hamilton from New Zealand, Rotorua, riding for Troy Lee Designs and Commercial.
Again, hard push along the pedally section there. Coming down into the bottom, though. You got to keep it going. Again, this left-handed berm's probably getting a bit blown out. Like Chris was saying, holes are getting bigger and bigger. Hard to avoid them on a tight, narrow track like this. As holes start to form again, loose rocks start to also show up a little bit too. So you got to make sure you can adapt your run on the fly there. If you're coming in, there's a big boulder. You got to make sure you can get around that hole. Here he comes down in the lower part of the course right now. Lewis Hamilton right now, airing it out.
And Lewis Hamilton, the Kiwi, coming across. Time for him, 3 minutes at .25. So top 5 finish, 4th place for Lewis Hamilton with that time right there.
Some big names still to come here in the next few people. Luke Strobel, David McMillan, Remy Gauvin, Bernardo Cruz, Elliot Jackson. And that's just before we flip to the next sheet on our piece of paper here, eh, Si?
Yeah, exactly. And look at what a great shot we've got in front of us here. Luke Strobel here, the evil rider riding out of the USA on the 31 plate as they duck and dive into these woods. And they have got to be a little bit careful because it's sunny at one point. The next minute they're ducking and diving into the woods. It's speckled light. You can't really make out all the roots and all the rocks and the ruts that are in there. So many of the riders will be running a clear lens rather than the mirrored iridium lens.
And so Luke Strobel, 2:49 and counting. Luke Strobel, the Northwest Cup leader, as he makes his way down here towards the end on a good time. Check the time for Luke Strobel. Battling across as he get into the 3-minute mark, 3:01. So top 10 for Luke Strobel. Into 9th place for him. Just shows you how talented these riders in. Luke Strobel, of course, as saying, the Northwest Cup leader coming out here.
I mean, this guy, you know, probably a little bit better had it been raining and wet for him. He loves that stuff. Greasy, slippery, loose. Then we've got the Australian right now, David McMillan. You know, he does the World Cup circuit tour there, doing all those races, and now he's in here in Whistler as he's ducking into the upper joyride section right now. Clock's looking like it's ticking away in his favor at the moment. He's just got to get through the next little bit of section trail here.
Yeah, David McMillan from Canberra, Australia, riding for Specialized. He is on course. We're looking up the hill. We can see the dust kicking up. It's so dry and dusty here. We've got to watch out for the wind at the bottom. What can he do down the bottom part of this course? David McMillan, he's through the whoops. Look at that style, leaning back, heels down, wrists back. He's still got the power. He's going to cross the line. It's going to be a good time for him. He goes 11th place, 3:01. 5.3 seconds off the lead time of Sean Neer at the moment with that time of 2:56.
So Sean Neer still your leader. Chris Kavark in that 2nd spot. Matt Beer in 3. So 2:56, 6:1. Time to beat Remy Gauvin.
Remy not having, ducking out on the jumps there, keeping it on the ground rather than going through that rhythm section and pedaling away. Looking like he's in touch a little bit here. We know he wasn't quite happy with his results so far this week. He got 3rd last year in the Garbo DH, not backing that up again this year. So he's coming down into the lower part of the course right now. You know he's going to be feeling pretty fresh. He works with Performex coaching. So he knows how to put in the work in the off season.
That was a sneaky little line to the side. They're not going over the jumps. As long as it's inside the tapes, it still counts. He's not going to get DQ'd for that, but maybe they need to move those tapes over for the next time we come back here. We want these riders over these jumps, don't we? Here we come, Remy Gauvin, the Canadian there. He's gone 3:01, 10th place for him. Top 10 results so far.
Sean Neer, though, still sitting comfy down in that hot seat. He's been keeping that thing pretty warm all day long there. I'm guessing he probably thought maybe he'd be knocked out by now, but the time still holding strong here as we've gone through quite a few competitors.
And you know, what Sean Neer said earlier, guys, is he also said that he kind of blew it in one of the turns out there, so that's why he had the 2:56. But that's, you got to wonder if he didn't have the problem out there, does he go in the 2:40s?
That's always a hard thing when you're racing against the clock. I mean, the only thing you can do at the end of the day is just be happy with the effort you put in, be stoked on what the clock said, and go back and put in the hard work in the off season. Right now, we've got one of our Chilean riders coming down the hill here. Probably used to this loose, dry, dusty conditions, though, from back home.
Yeah, the Chilean rider on course at the moment. I think we've got around 27 riders to go as he hits this big one. Over jumping that one slightly. He's still putting the power down. 17th place, still a top 20 result for him with a time of 3:03 for the Specialized rider there.
Still a lot of heavy hitters to go as you check out our aerial shots here from Whistler. Day number 10 here at Crankworks, the final day, as Kirk McDowell from Canada make his way down. Sean Neer still the man to beat with a 2:56.61.
Yeah, Kurt McDowell racing the World Cups this year, doing some select rounds, always fast on the bike. One of the Canadians there. You see how he's charging down in the bottom part of the course. Rail on that right-hander again, that's getting really, really loose right now.
Here he is through the ropes, riding that transition for Dunbar Cycles. Gets that back wheel down, the dust is kicking up. First place.
Kirk McDowell with a 2:56.15. Hello to first place for Kirk McDowell. He will take the hot seat after that one, and that's going to do it. Sean Neer is going to be bumped down to second. Chris Kavark now in third.
Next rider up on the 140 plate, Gianluca Venassa there, the Italian rider. Clock's ticking by, coming up to 2:30 for him.
Riding that Da Vinci Cycles bike, wearing that fresh-looking Fox kit, so he's coming down. Hopefully his run has been going well for him at this point. Again, lots of technical stuff and challenging terrain up top. You got to get through all the rock slabs. You got a couple road gaps. You got the rhythm section after Heckler's Rock. Not easy to get through there. Big jumps. You got the slick rock that's starting to show up underneath the dirt now. So Juan Lucan right now coming down through the bass, a little bit of whip section here, jumping to the side of that. Airing out that final big jump, coming down, putting the pedal strokes across the line, good enough to slot into that 13th position right now.
Yeah, Gianluca there carrying some great speed. Really caught the backside of that jump, came down straight on the top of it, able to catch the momentum and use gravity as his friend. As we look at rider number 25, currently on course at the moment, Bernardo Neves Cruz, the Brazilian, Mr. Whip-Off King himself from last year, all the way from Brazil, riding that GT bike.
Again, Bernardo getting second place in the whip-offs this year, getting challenged by the young gun. Kind of much like his story. He showed up here years ago, entered the whip-off, won it, was an unknown at the time in the North American market. Signs that Red Bull deal, got a Red Bull helmet on, getting second place this year.
And that is really what Crankworx Whistler is all about. You can come here, an unknown can land, make a name for himself, and then pick up a big sponsor like Red Bull. Here he comes, Bernardo Neves Cruz. It's going to be a good time, slightly outside the top first place. He's going to go fourth place, 2:58, 2.5 off. Put your hands together for the Brazilian Bernardo Cruz, fourth place for him.
So as we get into the thick of things, 130 pro men. And now we see plate 23. That's Elliot Jackson from Westlake Village, doing it for Pivot Factory Racing.
We're seeing our riders now leaving the start hut up top in the 1 minute intervals. See Elliot there going for the tuck along the flats rather than wasting the energy, trying to get as low as he can, keeping his momentum up across there. Now this is where he's really going to have to put in the work if he wants to pay some bills at the end of the day. Down through the bottom part of the course here, and it's loose, it's rough, it's dusty. Man, this guy has nothing but style. He does nothing but the biggest gaps on the hill.
Yeah, Elliot Jackson, great to see him racing again. Suffered with a bit of asthma, put him off the World Cup circuit for a while, but such a stylish rider. We saw him in the big train on A-line, jockeying around. Elliot Jackson comes through. It's going to be a good time for him. He goes third, 2:57. Missed the seat bounce himself, Elliot Jackson.
All right, let's set it down to Jackie, standing by with our current leader, Jackie.
Guys, I am here with Kirk McDowell, currently sitting in the hot seat. Now, Kirk, you're from not too far from here, Port Moody, correct? Now, you said you've ridden this course many a times, but you took today a little conservative. Why so?
Oh, I only got in one practice run this morning, and I wasn't too sure what I was going to do. It's kind of a lot hotter than it has been the past couple days. So things definitely loosened up. We got a little more dusty. But, yeah, I just wanted to keep it together, and it wasn't like 110%, maybe 95%.
95%. I mean, you still have a pretty decent time going right now. Do you get nerves, or what kind of emotions go through you when you're sitting here knowing that there's some big names that still have yet to ride?
Yeah, I usually try not to watch. Maybe go do a run or something, but yeah, sort of just trying to look and see when they first come into the shot, what their time is, and then how close they are when they come down. And
See, this year's different. We're forcing you to sit here and watch everyone go down, all right? Well, hopefully you don't get too nervous. Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
All right, Jackie, thank you so much. And getting word that the reruns that we'll be putting on course, they're all going to be coming in before plate 17. Dean Lucas, once we see Dean Lucas plate 17, that will mean we'll be done with all the reruns. So because of Nick Grimm going down, we had some reruns. Some guys got red flag, had to go back up top and start over and do it all over again.
Right now, though, we're seeing Mark Wallace, a little wonder child, the other Stevie Smith protege, just roosting the camera there, looking like he blew out of that. Now coming down through the whoop section there, still airing out that final jump, over jumping it, but look at the time, folks. He's coming across the line in that #1 spot.
Mark Wallace, a 2:54.22, your new leader with that time. You know, take over the hot seat. Mark Wallace out of Duncan, doing it for Da Vinci Global Racing.
That's going to keep the Da Vinci guys happy in with Stevie's absence today. But on course at the moment, Mitch Ropolato, Mr. Soap on a rope himself, 2:20 on the clock at the moment for the Specialized rider. We saw him do, well, you know, he got knocked out in the pump track. We saw him win it like a, he even got knocked out last year as well, sorry. Mitch Ropolato here, Specialized rider on course.
Can Mitch Ropolato challenge that time of Mark Wallace? He's got to beat a 2:54.22. Mitch Ropolato, rope-a-dope, soap on a rope, whatever you want to call him. It's Mitch Ropolato on course right now. And here he comes into view. Mitch Ropolato over the final kicker. What can he do? Pedal it across the line. The time's going to be a 2:56.65. Ropolato into the top 5 into 4th place.
As we're seeing there from that last shot on that right-handed corner, the Mark roosted the camera. It's getting a little bit looser there. Mitch sliding out as well a little bit, maybe losing a bit of momentum on that. So the hole's going to play a bit of an acting role in today's results here. And we're seeing that steep final chute there. Lots of people lining that one. You kind of come into an awkward angle there. The rock falling one way. You got some big roots. You got the talcum powder dust on it, so not easy to navigate down through that bottom part of the course. And then, of course, you've got hundreds, thousands of screaming fans all the way down, leaning in, giving you a bit of encouragement, but also at the same time, you got to stay focused at the task at hand.
Next rider up, we are looking for Mr. Adam Rayton, riding for Hope Technology. He'll be on that Specialized demo. 3rd in the BDS series, the British Downhill series back in 2013. Took the big win at round 3 there in Innerleithen against the likes of Stevie Smith. Took a big win, biggest win of his career there. But probably more famous, I should say the spectator was more famous than him. Oh, Mr. Bunny himself, the spectator that took his bike, took it for a spin down the hill and had a huge crash.
And our aerial shots once again out here in your Canadian Open DH, the final day here, day 10. Adam Brayton on course right now.
Mr. Gaster Flat, the man from up north in the UK. He's pretty stylish on the bike. Some say he's crazy. He goes massive, any big jumps. So get your cameras ready. You see Adam Brayton coming to this finish arena. He's going to go big off this last one, that's for sure. Rides a lot of motocross as well. Suffered a few injuries on the shoulders and collarbones, but he's coming through now. He's looking good. Adam Brayton on the number 19 plate. Over here displaying in the finish arena. They'll all be supporting him as he crosses that line. He's looking good. Adam Brayton. Sorry, that's Philip Polk on the 18 plate.
Philip Polk, the urban assassin there, doing all those races down in the Southern Hemisphere, ducking and weaving between crazy fans, doing things that just no man should be doing on a bike through the streets there. You watch any of those videos online, you go to the GoPro website, they've got stuff like that on there. Makes you feel like you're flying by the seat of your pants. People are reaching in as you're riding downstairs. You've got the handrails beside you there. One false move at the speeds you're traveling through downtown. It's not for me, that's for sure. It's just better to spectate that one.
Well, we put it up to you guys, everybody watching online, all you people out here in Whistler, about you got to vote for who you thought was the best whip on our official whip-off championships that we did. And the results are being tallied right now, and I think we have the winner. Let's take a look at the video right here and roll it. Here you go. This is what they picked. No
Finn
surprise.
for the win. Let Finn in, and now it's hashtagging Finn for the win, and he won that just cranking that back wheel up and over his head. Bars turned all the way to the side, landing it perfectly straight. That's how you do a whip, people. That is textbook style there, pushing the sport of mountain biking.
And you know what, Finn, 14 on the day of that event. He turned 15 the next day.
Finn for the win. Hashtag it right there. You know what I like about that is the judges saw it the same way that everybody saw it at home as well. Well, there's your leaderboard right now. Sean Neer in third, Kirk McDowell in that second. Fastest time of the day, Mark Wallace so far in the top spot with a 2:54.22. We'll be back with more racing coming up. Final day here at Crankworks.
If the country is wild, get a 4x4. If the country is big, get a 9-speed transmission and 44 miles per gallon. If the country is rugged, get comfortable with full-grain Napa leather and technology to keep you on the right path. And if the country is Canada, get a Jeep Cherokee. Ajax 2014 Canadian Utility Vehicle of the Year.
The weekend's here and we're ready to roll. We kick it off and snag these new Bud Light Quickies. These slim cans get cold fast, then we head straight to the beach. When we're ready, they're nice and frosty. Watch the sunset by the fire and we break out the tunes. As the night cools down, things really heat up. Next day, we head to Dave's cottage, pop some quickies in the cooler. They get icy in no time. The games begin and TJ busts out a jig. Someone shimmies, someone shakes. We dance like nobody's watching, but everybody is. Summer's here and these little quickies get cold fast. Perfect for Bud Light living.
Canadian Open DH happening for you right now. The pro men on course for you. Have some reruns coming up from earlier today. That is plate 56, getting across still your top three. Sean Neer in the third spot. Kirk McDowell, number 2. Mark Wallace with a 2:54.22. And that is 7 seconds off the fast time from last year. Stevie Smith with the win.
Next rider up 57, Hugo Levenge in there, the Canadian. He goes 4:05 with a 95th place there.
With that flat rear tire, so again, it's hard. You got to figure out what pressure to be running. Too much, the bike's not going to gain traction. You feel like a pogo stick on the way down. Not enough, you're going to get that flat tire. It's a very, very close. But we've got Dean Lucas right now from Australia, whipping it out, giving it the ET, coming down across that line in 12th place. 3 minutes back, with a time of 3 minutes, 70 seconds there. So 6.48 back for him. Dean Lucas, again, one of the guys doing the rerun. Maybe not the best thing there. Who knows if the first run was going better for him or not. But throwing the thumbs up, having a good time here.
Always tough. And I tell you what, you come down, you're putting everything into your run. You might be having a great run. All of a sudden, you see the red flag at the bottom, and then you got to head back up and do it all over again. There's your Jeep leaderboard so far. Neer, number 3. McDowell, number 2. Wallace, number 1. Opalata not far out on the outside looking in that 4th spot.
And yeah, Mark Wallace been doing it all week long here at Crankworks. It's cool to see him sitting in that leader spot right now. There's still some big names to come.
Yeah, only about 15 more racers to come here, and we'll wrap it up. And we'll put a bow on it and a stamp on it for 2014 Crankworks. The final day, day 10. It's over before you know it. Here we go, number 15, plate 15, Kyle Sangers from Pemberton.
Again, Kyle's coming back off of injury right now, using the same line that Remy did, avoiding that on-off rhythm section at the end there. The clock's ticking away right now, just over that 2-minute, 20-second mark. He's working his way down into the bottom of the course right now. He's still got a bit more to navigate, though. This is the big man. He's well over 6 feet in height. Makes that bike look nimble underneath him. Very, very flawless, this rider.
Kyle Sangles there finished 16th last year with that time of 2:56. He certainly wants to go better than that. He won the Juniors US Open about 3 years ago. Sangles coming in. It's going to be a great time for him. Is he going to challenge for the lead? It's going to be close. Sure, we're going to get that time to print up shortly. It was looking like a flyer. Don't know whether it was going to be the top spot there for Kyle Sangles.
Not sure if it was top, but you know the way that clock was ticking, it looked like he was definitely top 5. Well, we'll get the scoring and timing back on that program. Let's see what's the official time for Sangers.
We're now back at our aerial view, though, from up in that helicopter, giving us the best view of the house here, showing us the track as riders are navigating those big open rock sections up top as they go in and out of that single track. And then, of course, we've got the bottom section here full of rhythm jumps. You come into that final chute, big old hip jump out of that, and then a couple doubles. You're airing across the access road that everybody drives up and down each and every day in their truck. And you got a couple more rhythm sections as you enter into the top of the boneyard, then coming down into the bottom here.
Guys, good. Kyle Sanger's time comes in at a 2:55.01. So Kyle Sanger's into second place. So Kirk McDowell, number 3. Kyle Sanger's number 2. Mark Wallace, number 1 right now with a 2:54.22. Fastest time of the day.
Just trying to check out, is this the 14 plate of Matt Walker, the New Zealand rider? Just trying to make him out from the moment, from such a great aerial view. A little bit pedally this section here. The riders will certainly be feeling this. It is Matt Walker, the New Zealand rider. This is the pro men's category. We have a dozen or so riders to go for the last man down. That is Marcelo Gutierrez. Matt Walker. Sister Sarah Walker, she races BMX. She reckons that she can have him out the start gate, but he catches him on the second or third straight when the jumps get that little bit bigger and the camera is getting loud, the helicopter's getting louder. We know he's coming to view down the last section. Matt Walker. No, sorry, this is Bernard Kerr. Bernard Kerr, the pivot rider.
Head up.
Yeah, that is Bernard Kerr, the pivot rider. He goes first pace, 2:53.7 seconds up.
So yes, indeed, Bernard Kerr will take over the hot seat right there. 2:53.47. Fastest time now, Bernard Kerr, 2:53.47. So he is now in the hot seat. And about 12 more to go. Standing in between him, taking the win out here. But the heavy hitters coming up. Marcelo Gutierrez on the way. Mick Hannah on the way. Danny Hart, Nick Beer, Connor Fearon, Ziga Pandora, Brendan Fairclough, Rory Cunningham, Jack Moyer. There's a look at the start. Courtesy of our aerial views.
Bunch of people just spectating up there right now. I'm sure all the top riders seeking a bit of shade right now, trying to keep their body temperature down, keep their heart rate down before they get into that start gate. Keep their focus. You can see pedaling out of the gate into that rough stuff, and then here we go into the lower part of the course right now, coming out of that final chute, which means they've got the rhythm section airing out of that hip, up and over the road right now, and then a few more jumps to go here, trying to keep it as low as you can.
This is the template of Guillaume Cavan there, the French rider out of Cannes, riding for Hutchinson. You are trying to beat Bernard's Kerr time of 2:53 at the moment. That's the top spot. Mark Wallace in 2. Kyle Sangers is there in 3.
Guillaume now into that lower part of the course. Again, you got to keep your speed up and over that hip jump to the roller, keeping it low through this jump here, but this corner is getting loose and blown out. Maybe cutting a little bit inside there right now. Coming down through the whoop sections right now. Guillaume is on a flyer, folks. Coming down across that line into that 7th spot there. So a solid run from him.
So 2:57.27 the time. Unit for Hutchinson Racing.
We've got the Mega Train right now coming down, led by the man who wears the Jandos, Eddie Masters.
Eddie Masters, also Rupert Chapman in there too as well.
And on the Banshee bike there, that orange bike, I think that's, yeah, that'll be Matt Walker, number 9 in the gate at the moment.
That's Jack Moyer. Yeah, there you go, Jack Moyer showing the start.
Shark Attack Jack coming down into the bottom section, so showing that very technical and final chute that the riders have to navigate there. Not an easy one. You're traversing across the hill at that point. You got to make a right-handed corner down into that. The rock, though, falling away to that left-hand side.
That does not look like an easy turn, having the speed that you have going into that hard right-hander right there.
No, not at all. You got to keep your speed up that. Then you got to rail the left-handed corner at the bottom. There's not a big berm. You air out of the woods. And then you've got that massive hip jump when you come into the rhythm section where you then go across to Jack Moore. Airing out of the woods there, out of that final little section. Now he's in the transfer stage across the top of the boneyard where he's airing out over the road right now. Keeping it low, but Jack Moore, his clock is ticking away right now, just over that 2-minute mark. He's got to put in the sprint along the flats there. And that's a huge deciding factor in the Canadian Open downhill. So you got to keep your speed up. There's not a lot of pedaling, but that one section, you need to have gas in the tank. You got to get on those pedals, put down the thunder.
So Jack Moore, the Australian there, he's on course at the moment. Third at the Australian National Champs in 2014. 11th was his best World Cup result at round 2 in Cairns. Got 12th in the Gabonzo downhill. Bergamot straight line team rider, here he comes through.
There we go, Jack Moyer, the time ticking away. Coming across the line, checking in with the time for Jack Moyer. That's a 2:57.43, top 10, 8th place for Jack Moyer. All right, time to check in with Jackie, standing by with our current leader. Let's send it downstairs. Jackie.
All right, I'm down here with Bernard Kerr, currently sitting in first. Now, you've raced in this event, I believe you said 5 years now. How have those past races helped you for this, give you an advantage for this year?
You know, just lines, there's so many lines up there and Brian little crest to see over, so knowing where you're going helps so much, but it's so dry and dusty up there now. It's pretty slippery.
All right, thanks, guys. I'll send it up to you.
Thanks, Jackie.
Right, we're looking now up the hill, number 8, Rory Cunningham Rhubarb to his friends. He's looking to beat Bernard Kerr time, the junior team rider. He's on course at the moment. He's been a national champion back in the UK at Llangollen, which is probably the steepest track out there, steeper than even Shumpry. Rory Cunningham tucking it down, crossing the line. 5th place for him, 2:56, 2.9 seconds behind Bernard Kerr.
Seeing that Rory had a bit of an issue higher up on the hill there. He was actually coasting across the flats. Looking like he's lost a chain there. So again, the big rocks here, you overshoot something, easy to break one, easy to hit a rock. We've got another one of your counterparts there, so you can take this one. We know you've got all over Brendan Fairclough.
He's itching. Take it away, Si.
Brendan Fairclough from Great Britain, 2:30 on the clock at the moment. First met him back in 2002 when he was a juvenile, raced at Hopton, won the British Cycling National Championships. Wow, all of 12 years ago, racing for the Scott Gestad team. Mr. Stylish, check out his Twitter and Facebook page if you want to see some stylish riding like down the likes of Dirt Merchant, whipping it out. There's no better rider on the course than this man here. Brendan Fairclough, challenging for the lead at the moment. Not fast enough to beat Bernard Kerr, but still looking good on the 7th plate. Brendan Fairclough comes through 12th place, 2:58.
So Bernard Kerr, your leader, 2:53.47. Mark Wallace settling for second right now, 2:54.22. And Kyle Sangers in third with a 2:55.01.
Which only means one thing, there's 6 riders left. They are on the track right now. We've gone to 2-minute gaps with our riders as they're dropping in now. So 2-minute gaps, give them a little extra time to breathe, a little extra time for that dust to settle between the riders. The last thing you want to do is catch the person in front of you. We've got our Slovenian rider on track right now.
Ziga Pando here, the Slovenian, making the big trip over from Eastern Europe. He is on course. He rides with Rory Cunningham. He's been over in the UK. He's done a couple of races there. Ziga Panda on the 6th plate. 2:50s on the clock at the moment, coming through those whoops. About to hit the last big sender, 50 foot up in the air. Still putting the pedals down. Ziga Panda, his time, 11th place, 2:57, 4.4 seconds off. And still Bernard Kerr doing it for Great Britain. Sat in the hot seat.
And then you can see the start right there for Connor Fearon. We got Connor Fearon still to cross, Nick Beer, Danny Hart, Mick Hannah, and Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas. And that'll wrap it up for you as they make their way down. Who is going to challenge the top time of Bernard Kerr? A 2:53.47 in the top spot. Mark Wallace in second, Kyle Sangers in third.
So Connor, this is the kind of track that is going to suit his style. It's loose, it's rough. He's a very aggressive rider, always over the front of the bike, letting the back end kick out. letting his riding speak for himself. He's a pretty quiet kid, but Connor Fearon keeping it low, cutting in. Let's see how hard he drifts that final corner, kicking up a bit of roost right there.
Well, here he is right now, Connor Fearon. It's counting it down right now, 10th in 2013. Connor Fearon coming across the line. The time, 2:51.97. The clock don't lie. Connor Fearon into the top spot.
Connor Fearon right in there, that brand new Kona operator. It's got a carbon front end, carbon rear link. He's on taking that top spot in style at the moment.
Now, next up, the man with the perfect name, Nick Beer, is out on track, doing it for Da Vinci Global Racing and Red Bull there. So Nick Beer, super, super fast, this guy. No stranger to the top step of the box on the World Cup here, and no stranger to walking on the box here at Crankworks.
Well, I mean, I got to touch on Connor Fearon. 10th place last year, 2013. He's now in first with a few more riders to go, including this guy, Nick Beer.
Nick Beer from Interlaken there in Switzerland, riding for Da Vinci Global Racing. But last time he was out, he was 5th at the Canadian Open, riding on the 4 plate. Let's see what he can do as he comes through these last 3 jumps. He's going to be outside the top spot. He hits the big 50-footer, styles it out, putting the pedals down. The dust is flying. Nick Beer, 9th place, 2:56.
Nick Beer was 5th last year, now down to 9th this year.
Calm down, Si. Calm down.
Danny Hart.
Relax, relax, relax. Danny Hart is up there.
We're having to calm Si down here in the booth. Fellow countryman Danny Hart on course.
Brad, you and I should just talk and bring him in and not let Si have even a little chance here to
turn Si's
get a little
mic off.
Squeak in here right now. Just turn down the volume on him right now. But Danny Hart, always on the gas, always on a flyer, coming down to the bottom section of the course right now.
Right, Mick Hannah said this was the danger threat. This was the danger man himself, Danny Hart, riding out of Great Britain on the 3 plate. 2011 world champion at Champery in totally different weather conditions. It's dry and dusty for him today. It's going to be a fast one.
Danny Hart, here we go. Check the time for Danny Hart. 2:51.63, your new leader, Danny Hart.
I told you.
It's gotten a little tight up here in the booth. I think somebody's head's grown a few too many sizes here in his hat. Danny just roosting that final corner for the man who's gotten 2nd place all too many times. Sick Mick Hannah is on track. He's coming down into the final rhythm section here, boosting out that jump. That's actually an on-off jump, and he just quadded over the entire thing. The clock's ticking away, and it's ticking in the right direction right now. Mick, we're going to see if that shoulder issue is going to play any sort of harm in terms of his time as he's coming down here. He does everything at 100%. Let's see what he's got. He's coming down into that final right-hander there, keeping his momentum up. He's got the loose corner that riders are losing a lot of momentum on. He kept the momentum going through there.
Yeah, Mick Hannah there, the Hutchinson UR rider.
Mick Hannah, 2nd place last year. 2nd place the year before. Pedaling across the line, putting in those pedal strokes, and it's just going to be a top 5 finish. 2:54.72. Mick Hannah into 5th, and Danny Hart still your leader with 1 more to go.
The last danger man is on track right now. Your Garbanzo DH winner, Marcelo Gutierrez, is on track, and the clock is looking good right now. We don't have an official split, but judging what it says and where he is right now, he is on a flyer. He's used to these dry, dusty conditions. He's been doing training laps all week long here.
Here is then Marcelo Gutierrez there, 2 times winner of the Garbanzo Downhill, the 24-year-old racing for the Giant Off-Road Factory team and Red Bull on course. Best World Cup result in 2014 was 11th place up at Fort William.
Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas, look at this! Look at this! 2:50.92. Marcelo Gutierrez takes the win. He wins the Garbo, and he comes out here winning the Canadian Open DH. What an amazing day, and what an amazing Crankworks for that man right there, Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas. Let's send it down to Jackie with our winner. Jackie?
Marcelo Gutierrez, you win the Garbo downhill a few days ago, and then you come out here and win the Canadian Open downhill. How does it feel to have 2 champion titles here at Crankworx Whistler?
Oh, can't feel any better. Super happy with the week. Like, I was super happy to come back here and try my best in every single race. It's a long week, but I guess I stayed focused, did my best, and it paid off.
You're riding a different bike this year than you have in the past. How much of an advantage did that give you?
Oh, a ton. I feel like a lot of difference this year compared with last year. Like in Banter, I was super stuck with my bike. In here, it's a rough track as well. Like, so the big wheels roll pretty good over all those bumps and like all those holes. So quite pleased to be working with these guys and like being involved in the process of developing the bike. So big thanks for them and big thanks for everyone that is supporting me.
But last year you finished in 6th, moving all the way up to the top spot of the podium. Does that make this win even more special?
Yeah, definitely special.
Congratulations to Marcelo Gutierrez, your 2014 Canadian Open downhill champion.
Wow. Unbelievable right there. Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas seems like he could do no wrong this year. Your 2014 version of Crankworks, your Garbo DH winner from 6th place last year. As Jackie was saying, winning the Garbo, 4th in the Air DH this year, and then winning the Canadian Open. And those are your official results right there. The clock don't lie, 2:50.92. Marcelo Gutierrez, that top spot, taking the win. Great Britain's Danny Hart in that 2nd spot. Connor Fearon from Australia in 3rd. And that's how it's coming up. Got the awards. They're on the way for the pro divisions. Don't go anywhere. The awards coming up next. Final day of Crankworks.
If the country is wild, get a 4x4. If the country is big, get a 9-speed transmission and 44 miles per gallon. If the country is rugged, get comfortable with full-grain Napa leather and technology to keep you on the right path. And if the country is Canada, get a Jeep Cherokee. Ajax 2014 Canadian Utility Vehicle of the Year.
The weekend's here and we're ready to roll. We kick it off and snag these new Bud Light Quickies. These slim cans get cold fast, then we head straight to the beach. When we're ready, they're nice and frosty. Watch the sunset by the fire and we break out the tunes. As the night cools down, things really heat up. Next day, we head to Dave's cottage, pop some quickies in the cooler, they get icy in no time. The games begin and TJ busts out a jig. Someone shimmies, someone shakes. We dance like nobody's watching, but everybody is. Summer's here and these little quickies get cold fast. Perfect for Bud Light living.
With the final competition in the books, the awards coming up for your Canadian Open DH. Also going to crown the king and queen of Crankworks. Cy Payton, what'd you think of the competition today?
Oh, absolutely amazing. You know, I'm so happy Danny Hart's got there in second place. But Marcelo, he's done so well this week at Crankworks. He made himself a name for himself racing for the CGP Great back in 2010-11, picked up some good sponsors, and he's back here proving himself today.
All right, what were you thinking, Tristan? You're the local boy, you're the captain, you're from this area. What did you think about today's comp?
Didn't disappoint. You know, I think the loose, dry conditions and just the track itself, that's why the riders come back each and every year. It's the Canadian Open DH. Very, very excited, though, for Connor Fearon getting in that third spot. You know, it's well-deserved. His aggressive riding style matches a track like this, so.
How do you feel, Tristan, when it comes down to hearing all these pro riders say how amazing these courses are? This is your backyard. This is where you live. Isn't that pretty amazing? Makes you feel pretty good from where you're from?
Yeah, you know, I think it's a choice to live here, and there's nothing but good things when you live here. I mean, you got the bike park in your backyard, and it's cool to see the best think where you live is such a great place. And that's the cool thing about Crankworks. It's a little sad that it's the final day and everybody has to go home tomorrow, and I get to go back to this thing called a regular job.
All right, you guys, it is time for your men's awards. That's where we're going to start things off for you first. And we'll put him on the podium so you people gather around, get right up close and personal, because here we go. Time for your men's awards for your Canadian Open DH. In third place from Australia for the Kona Factory team. Put your hands together for Connor Fearon. And there you go right there. Connor Fearon from Australia grabbing third. And in second place from Great Britain for Giant Factory Racing and Fox. Put your hands together for Danny Hart. And there you go, one more time. Danny Hart taking second out here. And your winner of your Canadian Open DH, also winning the Garbo as well from Colombia. Did it for Giant Factory Racing and Red Bull. Give it up for Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas. And one more time, there's your podium. Connor Fearon third, Danny Hart the number 2 spot, and Marcelo Gutierrez taking his second win. And it wouldn't be a win, it wouldn't be a podium without the bubbly as we add that to the mix for our top 3 out here in your Canadian Open DH. How sweet it is. There we go. Cheers. There's the guys. One more time, Canadian Open DH, 3, 2, and 1. Let's hear it for the boys. And big congratulations to all the guys out there, too. Kirk McDowell in that 8th spot. Kyle Sangers checking in number 7. Sick Mick Hannah in the number 6 spot. Mark Wallace starting out the top 5. Bernard Kerr in the 4th spot. Connor Fearon 3rd. Danny Hart 2. And Marcelo Gutierrez. How amazing it is seeing him get another win out here for Crankworks 2014. All right, time to get into the women's awards for you right now. In the 3rd place from Canada for Crankworx Racing, let's hear it for Claire Buchar. And your silver medalist from Canada doing it for Bergamot Hayes. This is Casey Brown. And your winner, doing it for Hutchinson, URN Spank from Australia. Get loud and proud for your Canadian Open DH winner, Tracey Hannah. And there you go, Claire Buchar 3rd, Casey Brown number 2, and Tracey Hannah, your winner. Put your hands together for him, Whistler. And the awards coming up for your Queen of Crankworks and your King of Crankworks. Those are the athletes that do the best throughout all the competitions out here. You got to compete in more than one to be in the running. Your King or Queen of Crankworks. And without any further ado, the Queen of Crankworks for 2014. Let's hear it for Casey Brown. And your official Queen of Crankworks, Casey Brown. And while we have her up there, it's time to introduce you to the King of Crankworks. Well, the guy who's had 2 wins this year, the Garbo winner, and just won the Canadian Open DH. Let's bring him back on the podium, Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas, your King of Crankworks for 2014. One more time, your Queen, your King, Queen Casey Brown, King Marcelo Gutierrez Villegas. All right, well, it is time to look at the dates. The dates, it's official like a referee's whistle. The 2015 dates for Crankworks. Take a look at this. Rotorua, March 25th to the 29th. That's in New Zealand. And your next stop is going to be off to Crankworks Les des Alpes from July 9th through the 12th. And then back here to beautiful Whistler, August 7th through the 16th for Crankworx Whistler. Those are your dates. For more information, go to crankworks.com for all the dates and all the action regarding Crankworks. All right, well, up here in the booth now, Cy Payton, final thoughts for you on just wrapping up wonderful, wonderful Crankworks.
You know, it's just gone up another level again. Crankworks, you're not a mountain biker unless you've come here. You need to sell a kidney and get here next year. This is the best event the whole week long, 10 days of it in the world. You cannot beat it.
Sell a kidney, all right? Don't sell a kidney, but Tristan, final thoughts, man.
And another amazing week in the books. I mean, it's hard to believe the week's already over. I'm a little, thank God I have these sunglasses on. I'm crying actually a little bit underneath right now.
I get a little tear.
I'm going to miss my little big guy. My little big guy here, Cy. I'm going to have to try and hopefully I'll get to see him before Crankworx Whistler next year. But amazing time, amazing week, amazing competition.
And I want to thank everybody who watches from every single country all over the world. Thank you so much for being part of something so special as Crankworks. It has been an amazing experience for all of us here. For an entire Crankworks crew, Cy Payton, Tristan Merrick, the captain, Jackie Montgomery, DJ Science on the ones and twos. I am Brad J, and I'll tell you what, good day from Whistler. See you next year.